Hi, and welcome again to the ASUG News Studio at SBOUC in Anaheim. And I'm Craig Powers, and I'm joined right now by Sathish Rajagopal from SAP and Ahmed Sharif from EV Technologies. How are you guys doing today?
Great,
Thank you.
great. How are
Good.
you?
I'm doing well. I'm glad you guys could come on. And I'll start with you, Satish. Your presentation is about the four cornerstones of a mobile rollout. And so when you're talking about that, what are things that customers might overlook when they're looking at the four cornerstones of a mobile rollout? And so basically, what is the most important aspect when you're of a mobile BI rollout?
Definitely, Greg. Great question, in fact. We often mention that as one of the challenges. If you look at the four cornerstones of any mobile BI rollout, we mentioned the use case requirements, the features functionality, number three, the security, including the network security, and number four, onboarding. When you say onboarding, how do you maintain the app updates and stuff like
Yeah.
that? So among these four, which I'll be talking about in detail tomorrow session, the use cases, the requirements is one of the areas they often overlook, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. Everybody's excited about seeing content on device.
Exactly. Yeah.
But the challenge, the success factor is, why do I need it? What for I need that? I can give you an example. There could be a requirement like, 20 stacks of 200 pages report for a monthly regional meeting. Right? You can imagine how much paper
Yeah.
people carrying regional vice presidents. So you can simply replace that with a couple of tabs of Webby reports,
Exactly.
right? So you have to really understand the requirement use cases for which you're going to use mobile BI.
Great. And Ahmed, for EV Technologies, you're talking about you're talking about tips for creating mobile reports, which that's getting more and more popular now that so many people are using tablets and everything. So, when you're talking about looking at something on a tablet versus looking at something on a screen, like what are some key differences when it comes to formatting for those two platforms?
So what we've discovered is that many customers now have given Webby a second look with the new ability to, deliver their reports through the mobile process. And while any report can technically be activated for mobility, you really have to rethink the process of developing a report, sort of the way you would a dashboard. The nice thing is that it's gotten a second wind, I feel, because it's brought the opportunity to create quicker reports utilizing more of the chart functionalities that Webby has that may not necessarily have been an option when you're developing for a portal or for the Launchpad, but really come into play and look sort of like a dashboard on a mobile device. So you really have to rethink the development process. So while you don't necessarily have to start from scratch if you have an existing Webby report, you definitely need to rethink the layout in terms of where you're going to place your charts and your tables, keeping in mind how much landscape you have on a tablet device.
I'd like to add something to that, Greg, what Ahmed said.
Right.
Basically, you have reports, which we often highlight as one of our strength areas in our mobile BI capability. You don't have to spend too much time and money to recreate or do anything, right? You can take your web intelligence report, in this case, directly to the device, iPad, but then how well it'll look like in a device, because the screen size. So that's our key strength. You little bit do a tweak in the reports, and it's mobile ready. So
Great. And how hard is it if you already have your desktop reports, but you want your employers or your customers or whatever to see their report on a mobile device? How hard is that transition?
The transition actually is surprisingly, it's been very, very straightforward, which has been pleasing to many customers in the sense that they were able to quickly see while you're developing on a desktop, you can make changes on the fly, save the changes, and you can view those results on a mobile device. So I've had situations where the customer never sees the portal, or the Launchpad version of the web report, and all they see is the iPad version of it, because it's so quick to get that process up and running. In fact, they're so pleased with the design of the mobile Webby reports that when we go back and build dashboards later on, they actually would like for us to mimic the design process that's in the iPad for the mobile reports, because they find it such a smooth interface for them to work with. So I found myself now creating dashboards that look more like the iPad mobile Webby reports.
So you're backwards adapting from
Exactly.
from what we would expect. And when I'm thinking, all these people have access to these reports on their device, and one thing a lot of customers I've seen are worried about is security, especially with cloud and mobile technology. What about security in the SAP Business Objects mobile business intelligence interface? Can you address those concerns? Is there anything to them, I guess?
Definitely, Greg. Security has been a concern for customers like those who are into financial domain, banks, insurance companies.
Absolutely.
So when you talk about security, there are two things. One is the infrastructure security, like networking and the communication back and forth, because there are so many components involved in the flow, in a typical workflow. The other thing is the data security, right? So security is one of our key strengths in our product, Mobile BI, because it fully leverages the platform security.
Right.
You don't have to redefine your security. You don't have to redo any of the security definitions or applications. You simply design it in the BI platform level. It fully leverages the security. So how does it work? Basically, we support the two-factor authentication. Right? You use a similar authentication that you use to log into a Launchpad, as he said, like to log into your BA Launchpad.
Right.
You use the same credentials, same method. On top of that, we also have something called app password, right? Suppose there are customers who often ask, like, this is our device. What if people lose the device? What will happen to that? So there is something called app password. It's like a safe vault. You set the app password. People can't launch the app. They can't get into the app. They can't view the offline data. In a way, you protect the offline data also, which sits on the device. So it's a complete, covering of secured, encrypted data that comes through network and then displays and keeps that in the device securely.
And you were talking about the app, and so the big news yesterday here was the announcement that BI 4.1 is now generally available, which means a lot more people are going to have access to. Well, a lot of people already had access to the app, but now there's obviously different things that they can do in 4.1. So can you talk about those different things now with the new app?
Absolutely. I mean, we are all excited. We are proud, in fact, of the 5.0 release. There are some of the innovations, key functionalities, capabilities can be done now 4.1, which is generally available now as of last week. So this is a great combination of 5.0 mobile BI release and 4.1. Some of the capabilities are like, how do you collaborate, right? The social media being a huge factor on how, customers interact with each other. So you can take let's say, Webby report, and you collaborate, you add your comments, you do anything, and then you integrate that with something like a Jam or Streamworks.
Right.
So some of these capabilities are like were innovated, and it's a great welcome that we have got from customers who took part in the 4.1 ramp-up program. So we are excited, and we are going to see a lot more adoption of mobile BI.
Great. Well, thank you guys for coming on, talking about mobile analytics with us. And stick with us. The rest of the day we'll have more interviews and more analysis at asugnews.com. Thank you.